Yo, it's your boy Timmy Lee Glean, and I'm coming at you with another. This is a quick single father thought. This is just something that's been on my mind. Um, I've had a couple conversations about it, and I want to speak about this specific topic only because I feel like we don't understand the divine order that God has set, and this is the reason why many of us are getting into divorces if we are getting married, or why we never get married or usually don't get married. Man, I believe this type of mindset can be detrimental to marriage, and that is to put your children above your spouse or the person that you are considering to be your spouse. And I'm just going to tell you off the bat, it will never work out. And you might think that it will work. No, it's going to never work out. Because children are extremely smart and some of the most manipulative people on earth. Especially when they know something and they know they can get away with something and they know they got a one up and they know they got some sort of power in a situation. They are going to exercise that. They are going to take advantage of that. You feel me? You got two parents, and you know what I'm saying? You literally letting the children run the house. With the type of mindset of, I put my children first no matter what, because my children are going to be with me all the time, but somebody could leave, and just going into anything with that type of mindset, you're going to lose. That's a loser's mindset. Just imagine if you had this big dream, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe you wanted to, let's say, pursue law school to be a lawyer, but before you even sign up for law school, you like, yo, like, this might not work. Like, you can't have that mindset when you're doing anything, because law school is tough. So imagine, dedicating 8 to 10 to 12 years of your life educating and becoming, more educated in this field. It's fruitful, once you get certified and stuff like that and get your degrees, or get doctorates, or whatever you get. I don't really know how that goes, and passing your bar, it takes effort into that, and you're not going to go into that with the mindset of, yo, this ain't going to work out, before you even embark on it, before you even give yourself a chance to give it a shot, to even put any sort of effort into it. This is how it is when you have that mindset towards marriage. Now, because you're looking at, a relationship that you don't even have in a negative mindset, you're not going to attract anybody that's going to be there for life. And I feel like this is more so for the single mothers than even fathers. But fathers fall under this category as well, putting not just children, but a lot of men, especially in the brown community, put their mothers above their spouse. Even, you know what I'm saying? So you put everybody above your spouse, and that's wrong. You become one. That's what God said. God said you leave your mother and father, and you cleave unto your spouse, and y'all become one flesh. Meaning, once you get married to somebody, and I'm not just talking about a marriage contract or anything like that. I'm talking about a covenant between you two, man and woman, and the Most High God, and that union, and people see you come together and say I do, and dedicate yourselves to each other, and make that commitment to each other. And you don't have that commitment with your children. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you don't have that commitment with your mom, or with your sisters, with your family, or anything like that. That's how you allow the enemy to infiltrate, and the enemy will use the closest people to you, especially your children, to ruin a marriage. It's like the children could do anything, literally anything, and you're going to take their side instead of standing by, your man or your woman. About stand behind your husband or your wife more so. And because that creates dissension between the two people that are supposed to be one. Remember, this is the person you're married to. This is the person that you have sex with. This is the person that you have babies with, have children with. This is somebody when you file taxes. If you have the marriage contract and file taxes, you include them as your spouse, as your partner in this type of thing. Even people that have LLCs and things like that, you can do your taxes under that LLC, still as a sole proprietor with your spouse, because you two count as one. You two are literally one. But once you allow other people, outside forces, to split you apart, it makes it tougher to even bring it together. Now, to piggyback off that last topic of what I said about the single mothers, and you know, it's how? I don't even know what to say, but how? You know, and I'm just sitting here still trying to understand the logic between making something work and expecting a man to even go for this type of thing, especially coming into somebody's life with children that aren't his. And that's another man's children. So if you got that type of mindset with somebody else's children, you're setting yourself up to be lonely with cats, or to be with a man that's docile, that's never going to stand firm on nothing because he can't. Anytime he tries to say something to the children, oh, don't say nothing to my children, or you have no power and discipline in my children, and whatever my children says goes, you know, and the children can even lie and make things up and say things, and the mother's going to take her children's side. You know how mothers have that soft spot for their children. They're going to take their side. It's very dangerous and detrimental once you put your children first, especially as a mother and you're creating a son husband. And you subconsciously do this and don't know, you know, but you're literally molding your sons to be the man that you want. And with that, and having that emotional attachment, you know, for a husband as you would for a son. And not saying ain't no weird stuff going on. I'm just talking about this, an emotional crutch. That's what, you know, you use your children for, in a sense. And like I said, and I could go back to the other topic of the sons that grow up, you know, and become grown men, and now they can't even garner a good relationship with the opposite sex, with the woman, because the mother is in the way. And some people just are confused by how this stuff happens. It literally happens from what I said. It's a mother putting their children first, and usually most likely the sons are going to replace a man, since with this type of mindset of, you know, my children never going to leave me. And guess what? When your children become grown, they going to leave you. And then you really going to be lonely. And then you really gonna be like, yo, like, I missed out on a couple good dudes because, you know, I put my children first. And that doesn't mean that your children aren't a top priority in your life. It doesn't mean life and death, like, you know, I'm going to choose my man over my dying child. Like, no, it ain't about that. And y'all always go to the extremes. A lot of you women go to the extremes instead of looking at it logically. If you got two people that are, you know, running a house, you know, as far as and supposedly working together to lead a family and to build, you know, with the family, and you got children literally coming in between, you got mothers coming in between, you got family members coming in between, you're letting too many people and too many things, you know, come and cut into your relationship with your spouses and with your significant others. And like I said, what type of thing is that for the children? Children aren't going to grow up and learn how to respect the covenant if a man and woman aren't on one accord in their covenant. Children aren't going to respect, you know, like the opposite sex even. You feel me? Now, I can look at myself as an example, and I'm a single father. You know, I have custody of my children, as I already stated previously. So, I'm just gonna put a hypothetical, and I have a wife that comes into my life. My children ain't coming above my wife. Not to say they aren't important, they aren't vital, and not saying that I'm going to love her more than my children. It's an order that God has set, and with that order, and God has made man, the head leadership. You know what I'm saying, and the woman, she's your wife. You know what I'm saying. She's going to become one with you. You two are together on this journey. You two make decisions together. You two, on this path and journey together. You two, like I said, have children together, build legacy together. And that's the one that I'm going to love just as Christ loved the church. And I said, and she will submit. And that's a whole different thing. That's a curse word to a lot of people. But but the children should submit, as far as like to the leadership of both parents, and the children should respect both parents, but if I'm sitting here putting my children first, above, my spouse, my wife, my children aren't going to respect her. Like when I'm gone, they're going to disrespect her. And then I'm going to come home or whatever, and she's going to tell me about the hell that she had with the children and things like that. And the children going to come to me and say, hey, this and that and this. And I'm going to take my children's side over my wife, even though my wife may be telling the truth. Now, I don't believe that my children are these type of people, but I'm just giving you an example of the big possibility that something like this could happen. And because of this, now this creates, dissension between me and my wife. And, it gets to the point, the children are a little wedge in between the marriage now because they know that they have that upper hand. And like I said, children, if they feel like they can get away with something, they're going to continue to do it and will not cease to stop until you nip it in the bud. But once, like I said, me as a man come to my children and tell them, explain this to them, like, this is my wife. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna respect her just as y'all respect me. Y'all gonna listen to her just as y'all listen to me. Now, if y'all get in trouble with her, it's like getting in trouble by me. She's going to exact the same type of discipline, the same type of principles, the same bold stance on the things that I stand on. She's going to stand on that with me. And y'all not going to come in between us, because eventually my children are going to grow up and, by the grace and glory of God, they have their own families. They're going to leave the nest. And after that, I'm going to still be here, and I want to be an old man with my wife. I don't want to be an old man, sad around depending on my children for emotional support and things like that. Like, ultimately, I'm not trying to compare myself to any other parent or make myself appear or look better than anybody because of this position that I'm in. I'm literally a single parent, and now I have thoughts that I can express. And a lot of people told me, you don't know what it's like to be in this position. You don't know what it's like. And people vouching for the other parent, not knowing that I'm alienated from my children and couldn't see them. So I just feel like a lot of people don't understand, what it's like being a man. And now since I have my children as a man, and since I think as a man and, I'm more of a masculine person now, less so effeminate like I was before. I have thoughts. I'm in this position. I'm going to speak about it now. I believe that I'm in a place where I can speak about these things. And nobody can tell me I can't speak about it anymore because I don't understand. I fully understand now what it feels like to actually be with my children every single day. Like, I'm not working now. I'm literally with them, and I homeschool them. Give them baths, feed them, and all. You need help with this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm talking about I need a help me, I ain't gonna make my help me in a lesser position than people that just learn how to potty train, just learning how to talk, just learning how to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need help with helping them grow, helping them learn and teaching them, and and I can't fully do this alone. I got two daughters. I can't teach my daughters. I can teach my daughters about being a woman and things like that, but I can't be an example of my daughter for my daughters. And as having a wife, you're gonna have an example of daughters. And I just, would suggest that you be celibate, as I said before, and literally just wait until marriage to have sex and do courtship and get to know somebody fully, and you get to know like how you want to raise your children, because I'm not going to judge anybody for their mindset. But like I said, if you're a single parent with this type of mindset that you're going to put your children above, and that's man or woman, you are, and not just children, there's a lot of boys, like I said, because of this mindset of mothers, single mothers, putting their children first above a man. Boys don't get that, like that respect for his woman, for his spouse. A lot of men, especially in the brown community, because there's a bunch of mama's boys, they don't got that respect, for their spouse. They're allowing the mother to disrespect the spouse, and they don't say nothing. They don't stand up for her. They don't defend, their wife or their spouse or their significant other that they're, planning towards marriage. And these men will ultimately always be single, and it's disaster. And like I said, it's a cycle, and it just continues and it doesn't stop. This is why I just hope that you listen to this message and really get it, because this is something that's destroyed, They destroyed us Hebrews especially because it keeps women single. And once you have children and then put them above anything and everything, and not to say your children shouldn't be a top priority, but y'all even put your children above God. You make your children your God, and that's not right. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, and you got these boys growing up to worship, women and worship their mothers. Is this mother worship and father hatred, regardless. And like I said, mothers know what they doing. You feel me? They 40, 50, they miserable because they don't have a man, and they depend on their sons for this emotional, support. And like I said, they molded them into the man that they wanted for themselves. And like I said, I ain't saying no funny stuff is going on, but I saw this one girl, and she was dealing with it, with this boy that, she had a boyfriend, and her mom was giving her problems. Her mom was giving her hell, and I could tell this girl's like a good woman, and she could be a good woman to this young man. But the mom literally like she literally like you little, calling her all these crazy names and saying, this is my man. I mean, my son. Like she slipped up and said my man, and it's like you don't even understand what you doing once you putting your sons in a position saying you the man of the house and stuff like that. So when a man come around, you got the little boys checking you and stuff, and got these little boys crossing these, you feel me? Man, y'all be wilding with that type of stuff. And I said that type of mindset gonna keep you single forever. And you're raising boys that's gonna grow up, that's gonna be single forever, and they gonna mess up. These mothers are messing up relationships with good women, because it's some good women out here that want to give themselves to some good, decent boys. That I feel like you raised them to be a husband, but you didn't raise them to be a husband for somebody else. You raised them to be your husband, and that's why we call them son husbands. And it's very, like I said, dangerous. And in ways, many women use this to be predatorial, and this is something that we ignore because there are predators. And like I said, I know a couple cases where women literally, made their sons they man, like sleeping with them and all that, and being with them like man, it's sick. And it's sad. And I'm not saying that anybody that puts their children above a man is on this weird stuff, but I'm just saying it happens. And there's so many taboos in the brown community that we ignore. And like I said, I'm just not afraid to talk about it. And I hope that you can listen with understanding and understand, look at your son now and why he don't have a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, once these kids are little, you don't not realizing what you're doing, but once you see an adult and the product of it, I'm literally looking at this from a bird's eye view, and it's like some people don't see the psychology behind it. I don't need a degree to know psychology. All I had to do was observe actual human beings and have real life experiences and see real life experiences. And once you see patterns and once you see consistent patterns from consistent results, from consistent behaviors, from consistent types of mindsets, from consistent upbringings, you're going to see these things in a psychological way and understand that all this stuff is spiritual at the end of the day. But God had his order, and you shouldn't put no other human being, not your mama, not your brother, not your sister, not your children, not your best friend, not any other human being that's living in the flesh on earth right now. You don't put any other human being above your spouse. And I bet you $1 million that you will have a fruitful marriage if you put your spouse first and you dedicate yourself to your spouse and you work together with your spouse to raise your children. And this is why, like I said, you should just be celibate, do courtship, and get married and have children with your husband or wife. And you don't ever have to worry about this type of thing, but it just sucks being a single parent, and and it happens, and I say suck as in a bad thing, but like I said, it's weird because a lot of people don't even want to come into somebody's life, because of this type of thing, because they know that they're not even the top priority in the flesh, like, of course I'm a Christian, so I'm going to put God first. I'm going to put God first, and Jesus is the head of man, man is the head of a woman, and the man and woman works together, comes together, becomes one, and are head over the children. And like I said, if we see more of this divine order in the brown community, we wouldn't be where we were. But of course, the enemy gonna attack us, and the enemy's gonna use the children to attack the marriages to keep us apart as well. The enemy has used everything from politics to all these movements and culture, and like I said, now using the children and everything to keep us apart. And it's sad, once parents are being used to raise children to be a part of this cycle. And like I said, it's very harmful and hurtful for us, as a whole. And it's hurtful towards the society, once you're not having nuclear families. But ultimately, that's something that I definitely am going to talk about on a deeper level. But I just hope that you can listen to this with understanding, and understand that I have no ill intent. I know that I had this conversation with people already. Don't think that I'm out to personally, point you out or anything like that. And many people could say lots of things about an opinion, and this is my opinion, but look at the results of your life. Do you have a man? Do you have a husband? And look at the results of all the other people, the 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds that raise children in this way, and they lonely and miserable, and this is why they are ruining their children. They're ruining their daughters. They're ruining their sons. And look at the product of their sons and daughters. If they didn't break away from the generational curses, they're going to fall into line, into assimilation to what's going on. Look at what's been happening for the past 50 plus years. We suck at marriage. We are at the bottom of the barrel with nuclear families in the whole entire planet. The whole entire planet, the brown community is the worst when it comes to marriage, when it comes to family. We are the worst. And it's sad, you know, I see online, I see pictures of, you know what, I'm gonna talk about that I'm gonna talk about that in the nuclear family video. And I got a bunch of pictures and stuff and statistics, more statistics that I want to bring up. Because I don't want to just talk and just my feelings and stuff like that, because, you know, feelings can't touch facts. And I just want to come from a logical standpoint, just off the top of my head, just expressing, you know, some of my thoughts and even feelings on these things. And like I said, this is why this is single father thoughts. I'm a single father. I'm not going to think like a single mother, because I'm not a woman. I'm a father, I'm a man, but I'm a parent, and I'm doing this by myself, you know. So just as a lot of these mothers are doing this by themselves. And, you know, if you really doing your hardest, you know, as far as like working and building on something, and loving your children, not in a way where you're using them as an emotional crutch, you know, or a replacement man or a replacement, you know, thing, you know, but you really love and care for your children. You're really raising them right. You're raising them in the ways that they should go. I just want to commend you, because I feel like over the last couple years and making a lot of my Facebook posts and a lot of the things that I said on social media and a lot of the things that a lot of women agree with, especially brown women, I want to commend the good parents. And I know those that attack me are the bad parents, you know. And like I said, I ain't going to judge you, but I'm not going to hold back on what I'm going to say, because somebody has to say something about our community. And a lot of our men have become so docile and so weak. We've submitted to the woman so much, and we worship the woman so much, that we can't even say what's going on. We can't even say what you're doing wrong, but we can hear all the wrong that we doing. But look at me now. I'm not a deadbeat. I was alienated from my children. I had $16,000 taken away from me, just to have my children thrown into foster care. And now I've taken custody of my children. I had them for the past 2 years, and I believe that I'm doing a pretty well job. And it's not me. I don't do this because of me. I don't do this through me. This is God. I'm not able to do this without God. And I just want to tell you this in confidence, and want you to know that I can't do nothing without God. I can't even walk, stand. God gives me the breath of life, grace every day through the sanctifying blood of Jesus Christ. I thank God, because I could not do this without God. God is the center. God is number one in all things. And God is the sustainer and creator of all things. And he sent his son to die for our sins, you know, and that, you know, he was meant to be the head of man, and he is the way to the Father. And me as a man, I'm not saying I'm a gateway or a way to God for a woman, but as far as the divine order, I am a man, and a woman is to submit just as I am to submit to Christ, to God's will. And the divine order, let me tell you, it works. And not to say it works, I'm not married, so I'm not going to tell you or give you marriage advice. I'm just going to relate things that I've seen from the people that I've watched and the people that I've studied that's been married for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. This is real. God, the way God works, if you are in his divine order, is going to work and is going to last until death do you part. But if you let anybody else infiltrate your marriage, as far as especially children, that is the easiest way to push a man or woman away. And I hope you understand that. And if not, just watch. Just look at people around you. Look. And you're going to see. You're going to see how people are raised. You're going to be more aware of things. Like I said, not to judge, but if you look at the definition of judge, all of us judge. So, but regardless, you know, I hope you took something out of this, and thank you for watching, and God bless.